Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest in the Behind the Bar reviews. This week's chapter of 7 Deadly Sins, chapter 290, is good. Nothing major happens. In all honesty, the fight continues. That's the end of the day. The fight continues. Rudesiel is trash. Merlin is still OP. That's essentially how you can summarize the chapter. Because nothing else major other than these facts happen. Now, before we get into the actual review, once again, guys, please go support the Boar's Hat podcast. It is down in the description down below. The link is there. Great bunch of people all talking about the latest chapter. I was on it myself this week as well, so please go check that out. That being said, that out of the way, let's get right into chapter 290 because, once again, not the greatest chapter, but not a bad chapter. Nothing major happened. I guess that's why, once again, when I rate a chapter, if I were to give a chapter a 10 out of 10, something major like Aizen being the traitor the whole time in Soul Society got to happen. Or we get the reveal of Kenpachi's Bankai. Or we get, in One Piece, the Marineford War. Something major got to happen. Not every One Piece chapter is 10 out of 10. Kaido being revealed as a dragon, for example. 10 out of 10. Great things happen. But you cannot give, in my opinion, I don't give ratings easily. A 7 out of 10, a 6 out of 10 is still a passing grade, remember. It's not a fail. It's just not what made that chapter so great. It's like any movie. I understand that not every movie is a 5-star all-time winner, Oscar, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just the way it happens. And this chapter is a perfect example of that. It's not a bad chapter. It's a good chapter, but it's not a great chapter. Because not a whole lot happens. All we see from this is at the beginning, Zeldris, of course, is taking his beating from Rudesiel. For one time, Rudesiel actually managed to do something, it seems. And when Rudesiel does this attack, he goes for another one. The Napping Demon, Cusack, finally. We see Chandler and Cusack. Now that Omnibus Nebula is no longer a factor. Now that Zeldris and Escanor are currently out of the fight for right now. We finally see what the two oldest demons in the demon realm next to the Demon King, what they can do. And Cusack's just like, bing, stop you dead in your tracks. We also see that Gilthunder is very, very hurt, and Henriksen's healing magic will not work. So everyone's worried about that. Henriksen calls for Rudesiel to try to help, but of course he's very busy right now staring down the Napping Demon. Meanwhile, the pacifier, Chandler, is facing down Merlin, and the other one's saying, oh, so all I have to do is fight the daughter of Belial and the weak form of male, pretty much, and that's all I gotta do. Alright, so now it's gonna be Chandler versus that group, and Rudesiel versus Cusack. Now, right before the attacks go underway, we see a very interesting conversation between Zeldris and Cusack. Remember, I have the theory that Zeldris, what they want to do, Cusack does not want to betray his master. In his mind, his number one priority is Zeldris, is making Zeldris the Demon King, not Meliodas, regardless of their deal. And we've seen this reactions from him when he states he doesn't care about the Holy War, something about Gelda, all that stuff. We know Cusack's not on board with that, but for what reason? Once again, the theory is that he's going to be the betrayer. He's going to stab Zeldris in the back when push comes to shove. If Zeldris ever loses his sight of his path of the great demon race, if he ever sways from it, I think that, fool me once, shame on you with Meliodas. The Demon King basically ordered Cusack. Fool me twice, not with another son. Got to take him out before he becomes a threat, just like Meliodas is now threatening all their plans. So it's very weird here at this time to have this conversation about Zeldris talking to Cusack like, all right, mentor, you show me the power of the greatest, oldest demons. Show me your abilities. Show me the great, and Cusack's like, yeah, sit down, Zeldris. You've done enough, my master. I will take this in your stead. And he states, after Zeldris even tells him, go all out, kill him, he goes, I will do this. I will show you the great abilities of me, but remember that you will have to surpass me. And it's kind of like, wait, what? And even Zeldris kind of looks at him and goes kind of like, what are you talking about? And from this line of dialogue, once again, translation's a little iffy, but we can surmise that Cusack, and it makes sense, Cusack being the mentor, it's a Hiko Seijiro Riona Kenshin thing, a Himura Kenshin. That's what it's about. It's the same deal. Cusack and Chandler are stronger than Meliodas and Zeldris. I'm not uncomfortable saying that. We can make an argument about it, but at the end of the day, that seems to be the implication here. Because Cusack even states, you have to surpass me. And remember, Cusack and Chandler have no desire. Even if they could, they can't. They can't become the Demon King. They've gone as far as they can. They are the highest ranked demons in the demon realm. They've reached their peak. They are the ceiling, which Zeldris and Meliodas must break through. They need to break through the ceiling and see the sky, see the stars. They got to go beyond what their masters, what their mentors, not their masters, sorry, can do. That's what they need to be able to do. So, in a weird way, Cusack is once again showing his affection for Zeldris by stating, I will show you my abilities just so you can see the pinnacle of this power. And you need to be better than that. It's like, see, I wish this was way more fleshed out. I feel like this could go on for a long time with a long stretched out arc with some flashbacks and some context. This would be so much better. We really need more in-depth information between the relationship between Cusack and Zeldris, and we really need to see in-depth what they're thinking, because we were getting that at the beginning with Chandler and Cusack and how they felt. I think we need more of that. So a little bit more inner monologuing between them, their thought process, because I find that really interesting. Now, this is where Rodessio basically says, all right, you ready to fight? You ready to fight? And, well, yeah. Yeah, Cusack's ready to fight because Rodessio, sorry, bud. The Grace of Flash, once again, falls flat on its face. It looks like an idiot because Cusack taught Zeldris, who just owned you. And he's got the nerve, he's got the balls. Rodessio has the balls to actually walk up to him and be like, if Zeldris couldn't beat me in single combat, if even he couldn't do it, what makes you think you can? It's like, do you not know who I am? Like, he keeps talking, I am the leader of the 4 Archangels, I am the leader of Stigma, do you not know who I am? It's like, do you not know who this guy is? What do you think Mentor of Zeldris implicates? As, like, Cusack has to basically say it, like, he might be the best swordsman in the demon realm, but that's kind of because I decided, like, not to take the place. I taught this dude swordsmanship. Where do you think he got so good from? This guy, and he proves it because he beats the, like, they match themselves speed blitzing. Cusack treats it like a joke. He shows up unscathed, and then he headbutts. He's got laser eyes, headbutting, just swiping. It's just, so much happens in like 2 pages of just panels of battle. But it's so good. It's so good. I really like that aspect because it's just showing, okay, Cusack is just going all out. And Merlin even states, look, these two are some of the oldest, strongest demons. They have reached the highest level, the highest ranked demons in the demon realm. For all we know, these two have never, as far as we know, they didn't even, in the Holy War back 3,000 years ago, they rarely entered the battlefield. This breaks some of the story a little bit, but perhaps we will get more information about that later, because the idea was that the 4 versus the 10, the 4 graces versus the 10 commandments, that was an equilibrium. It kept a bit of a balance. It was the demon race versus the other 4, and somehow that still kept a balance. Don't even ask me how that was possible with guys like Gloxinia and Dolar and like the giant race and the fairy race and everybody else on the side along with the goddesses, and that only evened the playing field for the demon race. Then again, at the time they had Meliodas, and then Gotha did his swap with Meliodas, male, Esterosa. Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Point is that the balance was there, but Cusack and Chandler rarely showed up. And these two are stronger than the 10 Commandments, as stated multiple times, and just in this chapter by Zeldris. A power beyond the strength of the 10 Commandments. We need more context. We need way more context for these statements. Once again, I'll wait for a better translation, of course, but I need to get this review out. It implies a lot of things, but the power scaling and the balance that we've understood from the Holy War previously is now kind of broken, or at least twisted in a sense. So I think we need way more information. Once again, this could be all part of the great Demon King Supreme Deities, their grand master plan for some weird reason. They work together to create this holy war where they try to kill each other's races, and it's all part of some crazy plan. Once we get that information, maybe this will all fit into place like a perfect puzzle. But until that time, right now, I'm very skeptical that this isn't a bit of a retcon and a bit of a problem with the power scale. Now, here's where the chapter delves into a bit of issue, a bit of problems, because after we jump away from Rudeciel getting his ass kicked, we get into Chandler versus Merlin. And okay, the way Infinity works, let's just talk about Infinity for one quick moment. All Infinity does is basically give Merlin the ability to have an infinite mana pool. So it doesn't matter how much mana, if you had a health bar and a mana bar. All Infinity would do is that if you had mana of 100 initially, and there was a crazy spell cost called Supernova, and it cost 300 mana points, it doesn't matter. All she has to do is cast it once, and it works, and it does not drain her. She can cast it forever. It stays around. She can infinitely, like Diablo 3, launch power, and she's basically wearing the gear that continues the regeneration, magic regen, mana regen, the whole time. That's all it's doing. It's not amplifying her power. It's not making her spells better. All it's doing, all Infinity does, is allow her to cast spells that are even outside of what would be her normal mana pool. Her mana pool is Infinity. She can cast any spell as long as she knows what it is, and it will stay. So the fact is, here's where the problem lies. We have Exterminate Ray, which from the fact that Chandler then casts Exterminate Ray, we understand that this is most likely a demon art, a demon spell from the demon realm. We know that the Demon King blessed Merlin with all knowledge. Basically, here's a book on every demon spell. Read it, you get all the spells. Alright, so she knows all the spells. She uses this, Chandler uses this. The difference is, Merlin's is a Kamehameha. And Chandler's is a spirit bomb the size that killed Kid Buu at the end of Dragon Ball Z. So, and it's also cast by an older and most likely more powerful mage with much more knowledge. Remember that Chandler is the oldest, as far as we know, the oldest mage in the series. And he is an actual practicing demon mage. So, and he's a master of the demon arts. So it's very strange that with one little amplifier, remember what Infinity does now. Now she used her orb, the Aldenine, and she managed to cast enchant power amplify to her Kamehameha version of Exterminate Ray. But that should not, without we should have seen sweat, we should have seen, I talked about this in the Boar's Hat, we should have seen her struggle. The fact that she is snapping her fingers and managing to not just push back or break even, but beat the pacifier demon in a contest of magical power with the same spell, which in this chapter, the problem is in this chapter, we see that his version of Exterminate Ray is far grander, more powerful, bigger, better version. So it makes no sense. If she struggled, if we saw her use Power Amplify and saw her like afterwards like dropping her arm and like being like, wow, like, and her shoulder pad like busted off or something, like she used way more energy than she thought, that'd be fine. Remember, Infinity is just an infinite mana pool. Her magical power, use it like an RPG now, guys. As an RPG, your attack power is irrelevant. No matter how, if you had an infinite mana pool, but you were level 1, you still can't kill a level 99 boss just because you have infinite mana. You're casting the spell, but guess what? The thing's going to kill you. You don't have enough health. You don't have enough power. You don't have enough attack or defense to block a level 99 boss, right? So it doesn't matter if your mana regen is infinite. If your spells aren't, if your attack power isn't strong enough, it shouldn't matter. And there's no indication that Merlin's this chapter itself showed that Chandler's exterminate rate is much more powerful, bigger, and better than Merlin's. So why did it beat it? That one single power amplify with no sweat from Merlin, just like snap of the finger, boom, mine's better than yours, is so broken. It's very difficult to take it seriously. We're getting to fairy tale level problems. And I like Merlin as a character. And I'm okay with Infinity as I've described it. The problem lies with how it's being written. Now after this, we see that during the struggle, Escanor is told to go underneath Rita. Go find Rita. Because Rita, and I don't know why. Could there be a potential that if he grabs a hold of Rita, he'll be able to maintain his form even with the Black Knight Darkness spell cast? I don't know. It's very interesting that Merlin would tell him to go grab that weapon or go beneath that weapon, go under the shadow of that weapon. We'll have to wait for a better translation, but nonetheless, she clearly told Escanor to go to that weapon, and that's very strange. So I'm curious about we all know that Rita absorbs the power of the sun, of sunshine from him and stores it. Now, could this create a pseudo-sun for him to be able to go back to? Even if that were the case, it would be momentary, similar to what Gowther did in the battle when Gloxony and Dolar had that valley battle. So, the Battle Royale. So, it's very interesting to see where they're going to take that line of thinking. After this, of course, we see that Cusack, of course, headbutted and blew back Rudessiel. Rudessiel goes back there and says, Merlin, what's going on? What the hell? These guys are way stronger than they should be. This makes no sense. Why is our power not working anymore? And according to Merlin, with no indication, that's another thing. I didn't bring this up in the Boar's Hat, but no indication that they were unlocking any more power. They were already in their released forms. And then all of a sudden, according to Merlin, it seems they sealed away their original magical power with no Bonkai, no cool stance, no nothing. All of a sudden, they're just breaking seals for fun. And this original magical power thing got to stop, okay? Because it's being handed out like candy, like the end of Bleach, where it was, you get a Bonkai, you get a Bonkai, everybody gets a Bonkai. And it shouldn't be, because it's taken away. When Meliodas was revealed that his full counter was just a skill taught to him by Chandler, and his original magical power was sealed, and it's got some crazy ability that can cut the Demon King's arm off with no effort, that's been locked away. That was a big deal. A few chapters later, though, all of a sudden, Zeldris' original magical power. It's like, okay, well, now you're kind of, now it's a bit of a cop-out. Now you're taking away the importance of Meliodas. Now, all of a sudden, it's, Cusack and Chandler, their original magical power. So what's next? What's next? Infinity is just the state of the daughter of Belialan, and she has some original magical power. Oh, wait a minute. Escanor, along with my theory about him having an original magical power, because the Grace of Sunshine is a grace, it's not his power, so Escanor's original magical power will show up in the next 5 chapters. It's not the problem with the whole reveal of original magical powers. The problem is it's in less than 15 chapters, we've had this reveal of 4 separate characters, and I guarantee you we'll have a few more in the next 10. Everybody's getting it all of a sudden. It's similar to Bleach with the Bonkai. It's just you get a Bonkai, you get a Bonkai, everybody gets a Bonkai. We're doing a 2-for-1 sale. This is a Super Saiyan bargain sale going on here. Stop it. You can't just hand out badass abilities like the free candies that you get for going to a dollar store around Christmas time. Stop. Stop doing that. Because Cusack and Chandler, as far as I'm aware, I like them as characters, and I think they're cool. And I'm okay with them. I'm okay with every character having an original magical power, but revealing this thing, I don't know. I'm beating a dead horse at this point, guys. So, suffice it to say, they're super strong. They're not taking shit. Rudeciel's kind of like backed off and stuff. And now Merlin's just kind of like, oh, well, they're extremely tough, extremely strong, extremely defensive. They have no weaknesses. So, well, I guess we're going to have to create some weaknesses. And badass panel at the end. Okay. So, that's the end of the chapter. And almost the end of the review. Because I want to say one more thing. Rudeciel has to learn to sit down. Because he has done nothing substantial without supreme amount of aid from the other combatants there. Because what has he done? The only significant thing he did was after Escanor the One broke through Ominous Nebula and the Ruler from Zeldris and got a divine pierce Escanor halfway through Zeldris. And he used that opportunity to speed blitz. And that's all he's managed to do. On his own, he's been nothing but a liability. He's been getting pwned. He was pwned by Ominous Nebula. And then afterwards, he was being sucked in by Ominous Nebula, which would have resulted in more damage to his human vessel of Margaret if it weren't for Escanor. Then after Escanor had to take on Ominous Nebula and the Ruler, something Rudeciel could not do, after that, he took a cheap shot on Zeldris. I mean, fair game. I mean, they were trying to work together here, but that's the only significant damage he did. And after this, he tries to fight the Napping Demon, saying that, oh, you're not a good enough opponent for me either. Meanwhile, the Napping Demon is unscathed, and he's beating the living crap out of Rudeciel. So, once again, can someone show me where the Grace of Flash is any good? He's claiming to be able to, I am the leader of the four archangels. I can speed blitz everybody. I can speed blitz. I can speed blitz. Well, no, you failed to do that twice. You fought two people, and both times you failed to speed blitz them. They matched your speed, and then they beat you. Like, he fought Zeldris. Zeldris threw him into a brick wall and broke his sword. Then he went Divine Sword something. Well, not Divine Sword. That's Escanor's ability. But he used some arc form thing to create a sword. Tagged Zeldris when he was fighting Escanor. Then he fights Cusack. And Cusack goes, yeah, no. Headbutt. Get out of my face. So, like this whole Grace Flash being the speed blitz, everybody's matching the speed. So it's no damn good. It's not doing anything. It's literally having no help. He's being no help. He's simply being a hindrance. He'd be better off going off and healing Gil Thunder right now. Because honestly, he's doing nothing but just being a distraction so that Merlin and Escanor don't have to carry all the weight and fight Cusack and Chandler at the same time. That's all he's doing. He's just being a distraction so they can just focus on one of them. Like, I don't know what you guys think of Rudeciel. I don't know what you think of the Grace of Flash, but in my mind, he's been fodder diffed this whole time. He's been low diffed by both Cusack and Zeldris, and now, and without help from Escanor, he would have had way more damage. And now, I feel like it's going to be the triple threat. I feel like now that, Escanor collected his 3 trophies, Meliodas victory, Esteros victory, Zeldris victory. Now, I think it's time that the demon side collected victories against Rudeciel, the leader of the Archangels, leader of Stigma. And he has now been owned by Zeldris and Cusack. I think it's Chandler's turn. I think Chandler's now got to take Rudeciel down. But I'm sure in the next chapter Rudeciel will say, I can speed blitz you because Grace of Flash. So I'm waiting for that to happen. Anyways, guys, what did you think of the chapter? What did you think of the review? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment. Always very much appreciated. I know this was a bit of a longer review, but I felt like even though it was a less important chapter, it didn't have as much stuff. There was a lot of things to cover. There's a lot of stuff to unravel, and especially here at the end, talking about Rudeciel and his current status in this fight. Because I felt like that was rather important to get my thoughts out on that. That being said, guys, Like, subscribe, comment. As always, Griever, Behind the Bar Reviews. Drink responsibly. See you back here next time.